Next question. Are you for or against Indiana joining the lawsuit to find the health care bill just passed unconstitutional, and why? Mr. Leonard, your question.
Well, first up, good. I'm absolutely for it. They estimate the cost to Indiana being about $50,000 in legal fees to defend the right of Indiana not to participate in this debauchery or whatever you want to call it. I'm not a big fan of it, so please don't take offense if you like the health care issue. But we have learned so far in state government that it will cost a minimum, it's going to cost you and me, a minimum of $25 million just in one issue. And that's the agreements that Indiana has made through the Medicaid system with pharmaceutical companies. We know that when this health care goes into effect, it will void all of those agreements we had. And last year, the state of Indiana saved over $25 million through those agreements for pharmaceuticals for people on Medicaid. Just one issue. I think the $50,000 is a good bet against the $25 million.
Mr. Banks?
6 months ago, I stood before you here at the Huntington County Tea Party and signed a pledge that if I'm elected, I will uphold the 10th Amendment of our United States Constitution every chance I get, and that's exactly what this lawsuit is about. On the screen behind us earlier, the 10th Amendment was shown. I'll read it to you quickly. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited to it by the states, are reserved to the states, respectively, or to the people. This power grab by what we refer to as Obamacare, this national takeover of our healthcare system, is exactly that. And I'll tell you, what Professor O'Donnell showed us earlier with the growing national debt, this is all about us allowing our federal government to get too big, giving away too many of our states' rights and our state sovereignty away to the federal government, and this lawsuit is about gaining it back, fighting for it back. That's why I support it wholeheartedly. The Attorney General was in the district with me last week to talk about this issue. I believe it's a paramount issue, and I'll do whatever I can to support the lawsuit and support issues like these to take on the federal government when they reach too far in the future.
Mr. Wall.
Well, the first time I heard about this was at our last debate, and my big question then was, is the other states getting on board with this? And I'm saying that they are. Well, the $50,000, and I've researched it and seen what we're doing, I think it's a good idea, but I think we ought to give him a few more bucks, and let's go ahead and fight for our state sovereignty while he's there. Let's get it all done at once and come back and protect Indiana. That's what I want to do.
Mr. Fusselman?
Yeah, we just started a little late. We should have been protecting this a long time ago. This is something that is going to be very dear to all of your hearts because it's coming to affect you. You know, because they mandate it now. They mandate this. They mandate that. They unfund it. You don't get anything. The state has to pay for it. You know what? We should have been doing this a long time ago. So do I support this? Absolutely. And I support a lot more of them too. It's time to shrink the federal government back down to size so that the states and the local governments have the control, and not really even them have the control. You have the control.
That's the end of question number 5, and I've seen no rebuttals. You still have 2 rebuttals each. Next question. Would you like to use one, Mr. Mason?
Tom, I'm proud of you for changing your position on this important issue. The merits of this issue haven't changed in a week. And a week ago, my opponent said that he was opposed to this lawsuit because it was a waste of time and a waste of money by our state. And the merits of this issue haven't changed in a week. This is an enormous issue, what is being allowed to happen by the federal government to fight against our state sovereignty. And again, I'll just, it's paramount that you know that I'm not going to let issues like these get past me. We're going to look for other ways that we can uphold our constitutional rights, our individual freedoms, and fight for our state sovereignty if you elect me as your next state senator.
Before I pull them out quick, I want to tell you, I did not oppose it. I wanted to know the facts. I wanted to know everything that was going on and research it so I knew what to say. That was the first time I'd heard about it, was at the last debate. We need to be united with the other states when we go into this, and we need to be with them, because Indiana, with our $50,000, we're just going to be just one little state taking a look at them, and being united with the other states that we're going in there with, they're going to take notice and we're going to be listened to. And I want to repeat again, give them a couple extra dollars, and let's talk about our state sovereignty and come back and bring the government closest to the people where we're at right now, and that's what we need to do. Thank you.
Currently, Mr. Fusselman and Mr. Leonard, you have 2 rebuttals remaining. Mr. Banks, Mr. Wall, you have 1.
Want to dance.
You're a great American. Okay, next question. What will you do to stop companies and people from being hired, or from hiring illegal immigrants and illegal aliens? And it starts with Mr. Banks.
It's a great question about illegal immigration. If you couldn't hear the question, I believe that in order to receive state services, you need to show a state-issued ID to receive whether it's welfare or any service that you might receive from state government. I think that's the first place that we should start, is demanding that in order to receive the different Indiana state government services, that in order to be a legal resident, you've got to have a state-issued ID and present that to receive the service by the state. We also probably need to add more teeth to our law to make sure that when we go after, there's a fine line here to balance. We need to make sure that we do put some teeth behind the law to go after those who knowingly hire illegal immigrants. So we need to be careful not to penalize those who don't know they're hiring illegal immigrants in their business. And we need to find that fine line and go after those who do it knowingly. And I would support strengthening our state law in order to do that.
First off, let's not let them take all the deductions on their paycheck right off the bat. Don't let them take all of the deductions and get all that money up front. Make them come back and fill out a tax return if that's what they're going to do, so that we can maybe have that money back in the state if they don't want to fill out a tax return, and tell us that they have the valid information. Another big issue that I was talking to a gentleman in Warsaw, Indiana this morning with a landscape business is how many people that's unemployed that's coming out and starting business that's competing with him. You know, everyone is complaining about the illegal immigrants. We also have some people in Indiana that don't want to work. They want to go work for cash because, you know what? The unemployment is really too easy for them, and it's really hurting some local businesses, and it's putting a strain on their families. So the illegal immigrants, let's take the dollars away from them up front if they're going to come in here. And what would really be nice is if we could get them on a bus and get them back where they came from.
Mr. Fusselman, 1 minute.
Well, we have to look out here too, because here comes the federal government thinking they're going to run this. You know what? The state of Indiana needs to follow the laws they have on the books. Make sure that we're going after them. Make sure that if they're illegal, we need to fine them. If they're working illegally, the employer, like Jim said, the employer may not know. But I'm telling you what, the ones that do know, they need to be penalized for what they're doing. And we need to follow those laws. Do you hear about it? Do you hear about it in the news? There's a major problem here, and we're not making a big enough issue over it. So we need to find them. Like Tom said, some of them need to go. If you didn't do it the right way, you need to go. If you're here the right way, then we'll work with you.